impact alert as we go into this weekend, tracking the arrival of Arctic cold air across the southeast, how cold the temperatures will get, and when we could bring in some moisture that results in snow showers across.
Plus, tens of thousands of ballots from 2020 now in the possession of the FBI. What we're learning about the search in Fulton County and what leaders are saying about our elections. And more student walkouts are happening today across Metro Atlanta, protesting ICE crackdowns. As some school districts warn students there could be consequences for leaving class. Hi, and thank you so much for joining us here on 11Alive Plus at 12:30. I'm Faith Jesse. We begin today with a weather impact alert heading north Georgia. It is bringing in frigid cold air and maybe some snow. Meteorologist Nicole Hartford tracking it all for us. Nicole, I know a lot of people perking up. Hey, are we going to have snow this weekend?
Yes, we have that possibility as we go throughout the Saturday time frame especially. But first will come the very cold air. We will be tracking that potential for temperatures that fall down below freezing for a prolonged period of time. So our weather impact alert is going to be Saturday through Monday. That's when the cold air is anticipated. As far as the window, though, for any moisture to result in snow accumulation, that would be during the day on Saturday. Now, the cold air is a certainty. We know that's coming. What has a little bit less confidence is the snow showers, where they develop, and how much accumulation we could see across portions of North Georgia, but it looks most likely into those eastern counties. So we'll be fine-tuning that over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours, but you need to prepare now for the arrival of that cold air. You will want to bundle up, and this will be one of those situations where you definitely need to drip and protect your pipes, especially into Sunday morning. Right now it's cool, but it's comfortable. We're at 43 degrees. We've got a little sun peeking out with the clouds. Temperatures are into the 40s and the upper 30s, pretty much area wide. Not a whole lot more warming throughout the next couple hours. We'll top out for highs in the 40s. Our truly cold air does not arrive until Saturday. Until then, we'll see a little bit of warming into tomorrow. I'll talk more about the incoming of that cold air as well as the timeline for that potential for some snow showers coming up. Faith?
Okay, Nicole, we look forward to that. Going to be very cold out there. Now to this, at 12:30, there are a lot of questions after the FBI executed a search warrant at a Fulton County elections facility, removing thousands of ballots from the 2020 election. We're told that this is part of a federal investigation. Agents, they were at the site for hours. They left with truckloads of material. We know that this was at the Fulton County Election Hub and Operations Center in Union City. This is on Campbellton Fairburn Road. You see the map right there. And 11Alive's Ariana Manise, she was at that site, and she has more on what happened.
The 2020 presidential election was at the center of this investigation. I just spoke with Jeff Duncan, who was the Republican lieutenant governor at the time of that election, now running as a Democratic candidate for governor. And he says that he does not believe yesterday's raid was about election integrity. Now, we watch as FBI agents went in and out of the Fulton County election hub for hours, seizing documents. Both the FBI Deputy Director Andrew Bailey and the Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard were on site. Now, court records show that this operation is related to the Justice Department's investigation into alleged voter fraud, specifically how ballots and records from the 2020 election were preserved and handled here in Fulton County. Now, the Justice Department has been suing Fulton County to obtain these records, but a judge has yet to rule in this case. And Fulton County leaders say they were already scheduled to transfer the records through the court system next month. Meanwhile, Duncan says he believes the timing of this investigation is political.
I think it's to just be honest and call it what it is. This is not about election integrity. This is not about validating the 2020 election. This is about simply trying to create a permission structure to sow synthetic seeds of doubt into the midterms in 26 that are coming in November and in the 28 elections. That's what this is about. That's the game Donald Trump plays. That's the game that his entire inner circle plays, is just sowing seeds of doubt. This has never been about facts. Donald Trump has never cared about facts in the 2020 election. He's never cared about due process or democracy. He's just cared about his own vanity of losing an election in 2020, acting like it was rigged, and it wasn't.
Now, we also heard from the chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, Josh McCoon, who said today marks a major step toward truth and accountability. The FBI's execution of a search warrant at the Fulton County election hub is long overdue. Georgians have waited years for real answers about what happened in 2020. Now, the FBI would not provide any further details about the warrant, only saying that this investigation is ongoing. As far as those records, we know that they will be headed to the FBI's central office located in Virginia. Reporting from Fulton County, I'm Mariana Manise for 11Alive.
Earlier this morning, we spoke with former Fulton County Commissioner Lee Morris about what took place here. He called the move disturbing, and he questioned whether it was ever about finding a crime. Morris says that the real risk now is public confusion and eroding trust in elections that have already been audited and recounted.
The question is why? Is it an attempt to prove that the election was stolen somehow? Is it an attempt to stir up tensions and confusion leading up to the midterms? Is it some effort to deflect some of the things that are going on in the country in Minnesota and elsewhere with ICE? It's hard to tell what the motivation is, but I really honestly do not believe it's a serious attempt to find any criminal activity.
It's important to note here that Republicans disagree with that. They say that they want to see the truth come out of this. We'll hear from Mike Collins, Congressman Mike Collins, coming up on later editions of 11Alive. But Morris, who you just heard from, served 2 terms on the Board of Commissioners, leaving in 2022, and has launched a campaign to return to the board. Now to other headlines we're following for you today. Right now, jury selection continues in the trial for a man accused of killing UGA law student Tara Baker in 2001. Authorities say Edric Faust strangled, stabbed, and sexually assaulted Baker. Jury selection started on Tuesday. We'll be in the courtroom monitoring that case through the end. And today, Lithia Springs High School remains closed for a digital learning day. Crews there working to clean up damage caused by a water main break. As of right now, officials say they don't know what caused this, and families can expect an update on whether that school will be open tomorrow. That update's expected by 5 o'clock tonight. And this midday, a woman is in critical condition after a shooting outside of the front doors of the DeKalb County Police Department. Police say yesterday, 26-year-old Rebecca Patterson was shot by an officer after she entered into the department's headquarters in Marietta yesterday. They say that she came in about 4 p.m. asking to speak with an officer. That officer met with her outside. Police say she then pulled out a gun, pointing it at the officer. The video you saw there on the screen was believed to be the weapon involved here, that gun right there. Reports say that the officer ordered Patterson to drop the gun before shooting her multiple times. She was taken to the hospital. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation now investigating this shooting. We will continue to bring updates on this story as we learn more about this investigation. Well, it's been more than a month since 3 inmates escaped the DeKalb County jail, and there are still so many unanswered questions about how they actually got out, how they pulled it off. And 11Alive just obtained a very feisty email exchange between the DeKalb County Sheriff and County CEO Lorraine Cochran Johnston. The emails reveal Johnson only found out about the inmates' escape through news reports. Records show she emailed Sheriff Melody Maddox on December 22nd saying, quote, "It appears a full 3 hours has passed before I was aware, and with that I take issue." She goes on to say it is critical that we are kept informed of developments in real time, not after news reports surface. Well, in response, Sheriff Maddox wrote, "With all due respect, the situation involving the unaccounted for inmates at the DeKalb County Jail is a law enforcement and public safety matter." She went on to say this office has full authority and capability to manage all jail-related incidents. I object to any implication that public safety was compromised due to communication failures. We do know that U.S. Marshals captured the inmates in Miami within 24 hours of their escape. And as of this midday, the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office has still not shared any details on how exactly they broke out of the jail. Well, outrage continues to grow over a deadly shooting in Minneapolis involving 2 Border Patrol agents. The backlash now spilling into Washington. How this could affect efforts to avoid a government shutdown. Stay with us. You're watching 11Alive Plus.
Okay. Welcome back. Temperatures are chilly, but overall comfortable today and tomorrow before the arrival of frigid air into this weekend. We've got a weather impact alert as we track that Arctic air that's going to be moving in across the continental U.S., especially down here in North Georgia later this weekend. We're talking the possibility of more than 60 hours below freezing for Metro Atlanta. On top of that, we're also looking at the possibility of some moisture that could lead to some snowfall throughout portions of North Georgia throughout the day on Saturday. Our Arctic air is going to be sinking southward as we go into Friday night and Saturday. That Arctic air will bring with it some of our coldest temperatures of the season so far. So we'll stay in the 20s all day on Saturday. It'll be windy, so feels like temperatures into the teens are expected. Sunday morning will be the coldest of this cold snap with actual air temperatures down into the teens and the single digits. Feels like temperatures. So those wind chill values are going to be below zero in many locations, really ranging from about -5 to 5 degrees for our feels like temperature on Sunday morning. It is going to be frigid. We've got that front that moves through into Friday night and Saturday. And then once it does, we'll be watching this area of low pressure as it moves into the Atlantic to see whether or not it will push moisture far enough west to result in snow across the Atlanta metro and all of North Georgia. Now, our forecast is going to be highly dependent on how strong this area of low pressure becomes and where exactly it ends up. Further west would mean that moisture will be pushed further west as well. It is looking increasingly likely we could see at the very least some snow showers, if not even some accumulating snow across the Atlanta metro. So there are winter storm watches and even some winter storm warnings into portions of North Carolina and Virginia. And those winter storm watches have been extended westward to now include Metro Atlanta. So in these counties highlighted in blue in that winter storm watch, that's where it's most likely that we see not only snow showers on Saturday, but also some accumulating snowfall with totals up to about 2 inches possible. So that winter storm watch is going to be in effect Friday evening through Saturday into Sunday morning. It could result in some icy kind of slippery roads or some snow-packed roads. Here's how it plays out hour by hour on our forecast track. Now, before I show this, keep in mind this is one forecast model, and this does not necessarily mean this is exactly the way it's going to play out. We'll see some building cloud cover throughout the day on Friday. Couple spotty showers develop, but at this point, temperatures are still in the 40s. Overnight Friday night and into Saturday, the cold air moves in and we see some moisture start to develop. Now, this particular forecast model is definitely going a little above, I think, when it comes to our snowfall potential. Just know that we could see kind of on and off scattered showers throughout the day on Saturday. And yes, anything that falls would be in the form of snowfall. But at this point, there's still kind of low confidence when it comes to exactly how much moisture we'll see. I'm going to say the further east you go, the more likely that we see not only snow showers, but those accumulating snow totals of up to 1 inch or even 2 inches. The timeline of this, though, is what I want you to pay attention to. We'll have those snow showers, kind of spotty in nature, develop late Friday night into early Saturday morning. Things will be kind of on and off throughout the day on Saturday. Again, exactly how much snow we see, exactly how widespread those snow showers are, will have a lot to do with where that area of low pressure ends up and how strong it becomes by the time it moves eastward on Saturday. By Saturday evening, showers will start to subside. All that moisture starts to eject off towards the east and we dry out. But notice temperatures by this time. It is going to be frigid into Sunday morning. Those actual air temperatures down into the teens and the single digits, again with feels like temperatures below zero in many locations. So we've got a couple days before this starts to unfold. As far as temperatures go today and tomorrow, we're talking highs that are going to be in the mid to upper 40s tomorrow afternoon, so not quite as cold. By Saturday, that cold air moves in. We'll see the development of a couple of those snow showers throughout the early morning hours on Saturday. Any snow that falls on Saturday is really what we're expecting, and then the colder air really settles in into Sunday as those air temperatures fall down into the teens as well as the single digits. We will start to rebound quickly as we go into Sunday afternoon as well as Monday, but it's going to be a little time before we thaw out. So as we anticipate the weekend cold temperatures, a couple things you can do: make sure your pipes are properly protected. You will likely need to drip those pipes. This is one of those events with prolonged periods of below freezing temperatures, we will likely see some pipes burst, especially by Sunday morning. We will continue to fine-tune the exact impacts of that potential for some snowfall. Know that it is still a fluid forecast. We'll start talking more snow totals by tomorrow as we gear up for a very cold and potentially snowy Saturday across much of North Georgia.
Now to the latest out of Minneapolis, where two Border Patrol agents who fired their gun shooting that killed Alex Preddy. They are now on administrative leave. But questions remain surrounding the investigation and to the shooting. And now outrage over the shooting, it could lead to a partial government shutdown. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
This morning, the two Border Patrol agents who fired their guns in Alex Preddy's fatal shooting in Minneapolis are on administrative leave, according to the Department of Homeland Security, with President Trump's border czar Tom Homan set to speak, looking to ease tensions in a city on edge.
Seeing what's going on in Minnesota, it really breaks my heart.
The Minnesota governor still pressing for federal agents to leave the state, saying he's seen no sign of that.
I have no evidence they have.
All as new video emerged of Preddy in an altercation with federal immigration officers 11 days before he was killed. The footage from online media outlet The News Movement shows Preddy yelling at agents and kicking their SUV, breaking a taillight before agents tackle him. The video does not show what led up to the confrontation. Preddy's family saying they knew about the incident after it happened, adding he posed no threat to anyone and that nothing could possibly have justified his killing. In a separate sign of boiling tensions, Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar speaking out after a man rushed and sprayed her at a town hall with what her office now says investigators believe was apple cider vinegar. She blamed rhetoric from President Trump.
The fear and intimidation doesn't work on me.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle condemned the frightening incident.
Political violence or those sort of confrontations should be condemned across the board.
As they work to prevent a partial government shutdown by the end of the day tomorrow, with Democrats dug in against Homeland Security funding without changes to immigration enforcement operations. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
And we do know that the Senate failed to move forward on a government funding plan just hours ago. The vote 45 to 55, 7 Republicans joining all Democrats there voting no on this. And it comes days before potential government shutdown. The vote fell short as Democrats push for changes to how immigration agencies are operating under President Trump. Democrats' demands include ending roving ICE patrols across the country, body cams on all immigration enforcement agents, and no mask, an updated code of conduct as well. They also want Republicans to separate Homeland Security from other government funding to negotiate those reforms. So we are staying on top of that for you. Well, today, more student-led walkouts are happening across Metro Atlanta in protest of these violent ICE crackdowns. Students at DeKalb High School in Gwinnett County, they walked out this morning at 11:25. Students at Chamblee High School, they are set to walk out in just under an hour here at 1:30. And in Midtown High School, they're scheduled to walk out at 2 p.m. And this is video from a walkout that took place yesterday morning. This was at Riverwood International Charter School in Sandy Springs. And earlier this week, we watched hundreds walk out of Archer High School in Lawrenceville. You're taking a look at Archer High School right there. It comes as some local school districts are warning students about consequences for participating in these school walkouts. This week, the DeKalb County School District sent a letter home to parents saying students who leave class will face consequences. Those consequences could include suspension, the loss of parking privileges, sports, and extracurriculars. In a statement, to 11Alive News, the DeKalb County School spokesperson says in part, our schools are narrowly focused on providing safe classrooms where children learn, no more, no less. We respect the rights of students to express their views in a non-disruptive manner. Coming up here, a new state of tobacco control report that is out. It is raising red flags, while health experts say years of progress in cutting tobacco use could now be at risk. Welcome back. It's called the State of Tobacco Control. It's an annual report card grading how well states and the federal government are working to reduce tobacco use. Well, the latest report, it comes with a warning. Mandy Gaither explains why experts fear years of progress in tobacco prevention could now be at risk.
In its newly released annual report card, the American Lung Association says smoking rates for adults dropped from just over 23% in 2000 to below 11% in 2023. And while youth tobacco use is at its lowest level in 25 years, more than 2 million middle and high school students still use tobacco, including e-cigarettes.
Certainly not necessarily something a report card you'd want to bring home to your parents.
Despite major strides, tobacco use remains remains the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the U.S., claiming more than 490,000 lives every year. And the report warns progress could quickly unravel due to changes in tobacco use prevention and cessation efforts.
I want to see us continue to fight and drive down smoking rates so nobody has to deal with the consequences.
When it comes to regulation of tobacco products and coverage of treatments to help people quit smoking, the report gives the federal government a D. It received an F for the level of federal tobacco taxes and an I for incomplete on mass media campaigns aimed at preventing and reducing use. A B was given for funding tobacco prevention and control, and state grades were also a concern.
No state got all A's, but there were a few. They got the few best states, including California, Colorado, Delaware, D.C., Maine, and Massachusetts. And then the states with the worst grades, scoring Fs in all 5 grading categories, were Georgia, Mississippi, Texas, and Alabama.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
To keep tobacco control progress headed in the right direction, the report suggests higher tobacco taxes and smoke-free workplace laws. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Mostly cloudy and chilly today and tomorrow. The bitter cold air moves in on Saturday. It is going to be cold.